What is going on, guys? Papa C back with another video for you guys, bringing you the NPA Season 3 Week 3 battle. This week, your New York Klinks going up against Pum, coach of the Rochester Rhydons. His link, of course, is in the description. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you want to support the channel, and check out the team builder. I'll talk more about the team in a minute, because I had to bring a pretty in-depth team. If you look at Pum's team versus my team, Pum easily has the matchup. Between Kieran B, Spiritomb, Emboar, and Mega Blastoise, which he didn't even bring Mega Blastoise, I just have one of the poorest matchups possible. So definitely check out the team builder. Also, the things are flipped. You're going to see the battle from Pum's point of view. I'll be on the other side. I forgot to save the battle replay. I'm sorry. I know I said I was going to do it live this week, but unfortunately I was unable to. Going forward, what I'm going to do with these battles is I'm going to try to do them live. But, you know, since we have to schedule with another person and, you know, find a time that fits for both of us, the battles, sometimes I can't record them live, sometimes they have to be post. This week, unfortunately, had to be post. No big deal, though, but let's get into the team. So, really quickly, I had to bring an offensive Adamant Klefki because I needed to do as much damage to the Kieran B and his Spiritomb as possible. If he's max HP Spiritomb, Klefki with Life Orb and an Adamant Nature can OHKO Spiritomb with the player up, which is great. Brought a bulky Suicune with Toxic Roar and Reflect and Scald just to phase it out. Also holding the Wakan Berry to take a Wild Charge from the Emboar or a Fusion Bolt from the Kieran Black. Potentially, it could take a Thunderbolt from the Galvantula, I guess, but it wasn't really designed for that. Then I have Mega Alakazam. This is actually a bulky Mega Alakazam. The reason why I'm bringing this set, it's actually timid with enough speed to outspeed Scarfed Emboar with max HP. I think it was 212 defense, then 44 in speed. With this EV spread, I can live a Sucker Punch from a Spiritomb, and I can live a Banded Sucker Punch from a Emboar, which is really why I need that. I need to take as many hits as possible with Emboar. Then I have Choice Scarf Blaziken with Brave Bird, and 3 other coverage moves. I don't really remember them. Flare Blitz was one of them. This thing's designed to take damage, or to do damage, I should say. Flare Blitz to Florges, which he didn't bring, unfortunately, is a 2-hit KO. Thought about bringing Poison Jab instead, because that's no recoil, but then he has a Steel type in Fortress, which, I mean, if he knows that I'm Scarfed and he switches into a Poison Jab, that's not very good. Zapdos, which is a somewhat defensive set, I guess you could say. Max HP Modest with max special attack leftovers with Defog. U-Turn, because he did have Rhyperior, and I didn't want to, you know, essentially give it a free switch in if I click Volt Switch. Thunderbolt and Hidden Power Water, actually, again, for Rhyperior. I thought Rhyperior would be kind of a threat, but he didn't end up bringing it. And, of course, the Hidden Power Water also would hit the Emboar, which is kind of nice. Then, last but not least, Expert Belt Jirachi with the Hasty Nature, rocking out with Play Rough, which was a pain to figure out how to get. By the way, Play Rough Jirachi is like a Japanese-only event from 2015, which I had no idea. Iron Head, Grass Knot for the Mega Blastoise, because it is enough to 2-hit KO depending on his spread. And I forget the last move. I think it was Zen Headbutt. Yeah, it was Zen Headbutt just because it does a lot of damage because it's a stat move. So anyway, let's get right into this battle. I hit play, preparing the battle. Let's go. So, going into this battle, I knew I pretty much should have led Klefki. I didn't see Rhyperior, so if I didn't see Rhyperior, I knew leading Klefki would be a good idea. Potentially leading the Blaziken could have been a good idea as well. But he actually, oh, excuse me, I led with Galvantula. No, I led with, he led with Galvantula, I'm going to say. I almost clicked Blaziken predicting this lead. Now, I didn't expect him to have Sticky Webs, so I didn't go for Magic Code. I do have it, but I figured he's not going to go for it. I'm just going to go for Play Rough to break a potential Sash. He's actually Life Orb, which is good. Klefki takes a lot of damage, but it's whatever. He goes out to Nox, which is his Fortress. I'm expecting him to want to set up Spikes on me because I can't do anything. I go for Play Rough, which does break this thing sturdy, which is kind of nice. However, I do reveal that I'm Life Orb, so he's probably kind of confused, like, why are you Life Orb? He has leftovers, of course. Fun fact, I guess you could say, Custap Berry is unreleased in Sun and Moon, so Custap Berry Fortress was not a possibility, which is great. So, I go for Magic Code here, predicting the Stealth Rocks or the Spikes. He actually goes for Block, which would have trapped my Klefki. Very interesting play. I bounce back the Block, as you can see, and the Fortress actually gets trapped. Unfortunately, I can't do anything here, so I thought about just clicking Magic Code again, thinking he would go for Stealth Rocks, but I thought he'd just hit Volt Switch or something, but I don't know. I do end up switching out to my Blaziken because I know that his Sturdy is broken and Blaziken can kill it with a Flare Blitz, which is very nice. So in comes my Blaziken, and here he goes for Stealth Rocks, which kind of unfortunate. I guess I should have hit Magic Coat, so I could have got Rocks up on his side of the field. Rocks really weren't that big of a deal for me, though. One layer of Spikes is really all I needed, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Rocks on my side of the field kind of suck, but I do still have Defog, so I click Flare Blitz here. Now, unfortunately, after Leftovers recovery, he goes back to full health. And his Sturdy activates again, which is really unfortunate for me. If only the player off did like a little bit more damage, then he would not have been at full health. So I take a decent amount of recoil damage. He goes for Heavy Slam, which does like literally 0. He really thought about this play. He took like a 60-second turn, and I guess he just figured he's gonna sack this off. So since I am Choice Scarf, I just decided to click Flare Blitz again. He really doesn't have a switch in as well. I can just do as much damage as possible. So I do click Flare Blitz, and we do get the KO on the Fortress, which is very, very nice. I think that's the first KO of the battle, if I'm not mistaken. So down that goes, which is just fantastic. Get a crit. Didn't matter, obviously. So now here, I don't know what he sends out here. I don't exactly remember. What do you send out, Pump? He sends out Venter, which I believe is his Spiritomb? No, it's his, okay, it's his Cure in Black. So here I click Flare Blitz, because I figure if he's running Sub, it will do at least 50%, and then he'll be really pressured, because, you know, Sub, he'll have, like, no health, but he'll be behind a Sub. So I go for Flare Blitz, do a nice amount of damage. He is still in range to go for his Sub. However, he doesn't go for Sub. He goes for Fusion Bolt, which does tell me that he's probably physical. At this point, like, I was really, really expecting him to be Scarf, because Scarf makes the most sense in this matchup, because he speed ties my Kyurem. He outspeeds everything that can threaten Kyurem, basically, if he's Choice Scarf. So I go out to my Deus here, which is my Mega Alakazam, which does outspeed this thing if it's not Choice Scarfed. I figured it was Choice Scarf and was going to go for the Fusion Bolt again, which I could have lived. He does switch out, though, as I go for the, I think I'm going for Dazzling Gleam here, as opposed to Psychic, because in the off chance that, or not in the off chance, but in the chance that he switched in Spiritomb, Dazzling Gleam would hit it, while Psychic wouldn't, obviously. So there's the Mega. I will also trace Infiltrator. Something I thought about bringing briefly was Sub Mega Alakazam, but if he has Infiltrator, then Sub is completely useless. It actually helps him, so I go for Dazzling Gleam here. I have Infiltrator, which really isn't that big of a deal, unless his Kyurem is some weird subset, and then I guess that's good. So I do no damage, though, which tells me he's probably Assault Vested. He goes for Shadow Sneak. After the battle, he told me that Shadow Sneak should have been a 2-hit KO. As you can see, it's like, it's not even a 4-hit KO. So I go for Disable here, predicting either Sucker Punch or Pursuit. He actually goes for Shadow Sneak, and that gets disabled. So I just keep clicking Dazzling Gleam. He can't go for Priority Move. I don't think he had Sucker Punch, but he did have Pursuit. He does go for Pursuit eventually. I think it goes for here. Yeah, predicting the switch. Pursuit does the same amount of damage as Shadow Sneak anyway. But as you can see, we eat that up. So I just keep clicking Dazzling Gleam because it's really, like, I have no reason not to. If I go for Dazzling Gleam here, and he goes for the Pursuit, I can live it. He actually goes for Icy Wind here, though, to slow me down, which was pretty smart. This kind of told me that, like, this led me to believe that his Emboar was Scarf, because I do outspeed Scarfed Emboar, and if I was -1, then I don't think I would outspeed Scarfed Emboar. I go for Dazzling Gleam again anyway, and I do get the KO on the Gertrude, which is fantastic, because this thing was definitely one of the biggest threats, preparing for this battle. This and Emboar were definitely the two biggest threats, I guess you could say. So, he goes back out to his Galvantula, which is going to outspeed me, because I don't have, the speed investment, or I don't have a lot of speed investment, so I switch out. I go to Lieutenant Hawkeye, which is the Zapdos. Figure I can take a Volt Switch, I can take a Thunder. Rocks are a pain. I do have the Pressure, which I guess could be relevant. So he does go for Volt Switch here, which is nice. He actually goes out into his Tornadus, which is something I really wasn't too threatened about. Preparing for this battle, I didn't really think Tornadus would be that much of an issue. He wasn't running anything too crazy. He was just running Sub-Zero Slammer 4 attacks. So I stayed in here figuring if he goes for Icy Wind, I should be able to take it. If he goes for Hurricane, I should take it. If he goes for any other move, I should be able to take it. He actually goes for the Z Ice move, the Z Sub-Zero Slammer, whatever it's called, which was from Icy Wind. So he had Icy Wind, and it's the Z Icy Wind. It does kill my Zapdos. This was a really unfortunate part of the battle because I was really considering bringing Choice Scarfed Zapdos. If I was Choice Scarfed Zapdos, then I'm pretty sure Thunderbolt would have killed because he had to have been max special attack, and he had to have been enough speed to outspeed my Jirachi, meaning that his HP investment or his special defense investment, if he had it, wasn't a lot. So had I been Choice Scarfed, I probably would have been able to kill it with a Thunder, which is really unfortunate because this thing is a huge threat. I just go to Major Key here, knowing he probably has Heat Wave, and I figure, you know what, let's just get a layer of spikes up. If his Emboar is Focus Sash, then I'll break it at least. And Klefki just needs to do that. I could have T-Waved here as well. That would have actually been kind of nice. However, it didn't really end up mattering, I guess you could say. So down goes Major Key, unfortunately, but he did his job, he, kind of stopped the Fortress a little bit from setting up complete hazards, and it was able to get a layer of spikes up. So I go to my Lady Satsuki here, the Suicune, because I know I can take any hit he has. He has no electric move. He probably has to switch out. He essentially has no item because he already went for the Z move. So I just click Scald here because, and he has Grass Knot. I didn't remember this thing got Grass Knot, but luckily it doesn't one-shot me, which is fine. So I go for Scald here, and I do get the burn, which is actually really, really nice. I don't think it ends up really mattering that much because, like, one's a special hacker, and two, the damage the damage takes from burn really isn't that much anyway. So he just goes for Grass Knot again. I think goes for Grass Knot again, actually. No, he goes for Icy Wind. This was kind of a weird play. I was a bit confused by this. I guess he wanted to guarantee that his Emboar would outspeed me if I was some sort of weird max speed Suicune set. That could be possible. So my speed goes down as I go for Scald again. I was tempted to click Reflect here, because if I got the Reflect up, obviously I would take, less damage from physical attacks. However, Emboar, after a Reflect, still has a chance to kill my Jirachi with a Flare Blitz, so there really wasn't that much of a point. He goes for Icy Wind again. I don't know why he's not just clicking Grass Knot, just to kill the Suicune here. So my speed drops again, of course, because it's guaranteed drop. I just keep going for Scald. I figure, let this thing die. So he does actually end up living the Scald. No, he doesn't live the Scald. Okay, so maybe the burn did matter in that regard. I'm not really sure. But Suicune gets a kill on Tornadus, which is very, very nice. And in comes his Galvantula? His Galvantula. So here I just click Toxic, because I figured, like, what else is there to do? Like, he goes for Sticky Wipe here, which is really unfortunate too. I didn't think he would have it. It doesn't matter that much, I guess you could say. Like, it kind of does suck for Jirachi, but Mega Alakazam is actually still okay, even if he's -1 speed. It's not the worst thing in the world. So I do poison this thing, which is great. Scald wouldn't have killed anyway. I went for poison just in case he switched out or something. I mean, Fortress was dead, so I was kind of free to go for Toxic. I could have clicked Roar. That's very true. But again, I just didn't think it was that much of a big deal, if that makes sense. So he goes for Volt Switch. I eat my Wakan Berry, but it doesn't end up mattering because I'm at such low health. Like I said, the Wakan Berry was really just for Wild Charge Emboar and Fusion Bolt on the Kyurem. So he takes some more Life Orb damage. He's going to switch out because he did go for the Volt Switch. Now here I think I go out into my Jirachi. He goes out to his Roadhog, which is going to be his Emboar, which will take rocks damage. Now, I don't know what item this thing has, but I know it's not Choice Scarf. So I go out to Alphonse, my Jirachi here, and I take the Stealth Rocks damage, which is not that big of a deal. Get caught in Sticky Webs. He does go for Flare Blitz here, which is going to KO my Jirachi. I don't know what item he was, like I said. I think it's Expert Belt. I don't think it was Choice Band. So down goes Alphonse, unfortunately, unable to do anything. Our first round pick coming to the first battle in week 3, and it just gets sent out and died. How unfortunate. So he takes some recoil damage there. He does reveal that he's Life Orb, actually, not Expert Belt, my bad. So I go out to Deus here because I know he's not Choice Scarf. Now, he could have Sucker Punch, which is, something I was kind of scared of. Now, I am going to be at -1 speed after the Sticky Web. However, I still outspeed Emboar, which is interesting. I guess maybe he was a max HP set. I don't know. I was really expecting Pum to run Choice Scarf on this and or the Kyurem, but he didn't run Choice Scarf on either, which is interesting. So down goes the Roadhog, which was just fantastic. I never really realized how much Emboar looked like Roadhog, by the way. So we get the KO there, which is just fantastic. And he goes out into Ventor, which is going to be his Kyurem Black. I am not going to outspeed this thing, unfortunately. We'll take some Spikes damage. If I had gotten Rocks up, I think it would have died to Rocks. However, he would have then went into his Galvantula and then just clicked pretty much any move and kill me. So, unfortunately, we're not going to win. Very, very unfortunate. Down to a crit, which is just salt in the wound. I mean, it didn't end up mattering, obviously. But down goes Deus. We do lose 2-0. Unfortunately, we're 0-3. But at the very least, all of our battles were close. Like, the battle against T-Train, I just, wasn't ready for Trick Room. Second battle, we lost to a crit, essentially. And then this week, if I had Choice Scarf Zapdos, I think things could have possibly gone differently. I don't want to say I would have definitely won, but I definitely do think that Zapdos would have had a better matchup had it have been Choice Scarf versus a bulky set. So either way, thank you so much for watching, guys. Really do appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Even though we're not winning, I do appreciate it. Next week, we do take on Chris Cobain, who's somebody I've never battled before, by the way. Definitely looking forward to that, so be on the lookout for that. Keep rooting for your New York Klinks. Don't forget to check out Pum's channel. I think he's 2-1 now. I'm not sure exactly who he lost to, but that must have been a good battle. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys next week, and bye-bye.